Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 1st December 2022. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my vlog on YouTube. Haribol trsv nectar. In my previous videos in this particular vlog, we have been discussing the case history of one Mr. Ranganathan and his wayward son Sampath in the process of analyzing a proverb in English. Be good to people on your way up because you are certainly going to meet them on your way down. We have already discussed the life, the deeds, and the death of a Ranganathan. We know how Sampath's concubine planted her ample naked bum on a paralyzed Ranganathan's face and gave him an ignominious and suffocating death. Now it is the turn of Sampath, the wayward and wastrel son of Ranganathan. Ranganathan doted on Sampath, but this guy did not deserve that love, affection, and trust from his cunning father. This father had, through his evil deeds, accumulated a lot of wealth and a lot of landed property. When the father suffered a stroke and was paralyzed, Sampath appropriated everything and transferred the whole property in his own name. As soon as the father died, his concubine or mistress, who had hitherto pretended to nurse the ailing Ranganathan and who had planted her hindquarters on Ranganathan's face, thus suffocating him to death, hightailed it after taking a thick wad of notes from Sampath, who was now quite rich. This lady and her father made themselves scarce henceforth. Sampath had come across a lot of money and property. Without wasting 1 minute, he sold away the landed property and made everything into cash. Sampath had a lot of very self-serving, avaricious friends. They cajoled this fool to part away with his wealth to such an extent that almost half of Sampath's money was spent squandering away as doles and loans to these people who had no intentions of returning it. Sampath was left with the 50%. He was already an inveterate gambler and womanizer. These two were Sampath's addictions. They drained him of the rest of the wealth so fast that this fellow never knew what hit him. The hosts of that particular township were not only sexy, lusty, sensuous, and cunning, but they were also cold hearted. These women drained Sampath both physically and financially, let alone mentally. After this guy had squandered away a lot of his wealth, one day Sampath found to his dismay that he had already started suffering from various incurable ailments. These women humored him as long as he had some money, but as soon as they found that Sampath had nothing more to be given to them, they slowly began withdrawing from him and looked towards greener pastures. Sampath was too egoistic to bother at that particular time, but soon enough he found that he had been left high and dry by these prostitutes. Sampath did not bother initially, but later he found that all his self serving so called friends also began leaving him slowly but steadily. Sampath was angry, hurt, dismayed, and distraught. He tried to lean on these women who were till now humoring him with their sensuous looks and their gestures of lust, etc. But Sampath found to his dismay that it was all to no avail. These women began cold shouldering Sampath. One day, when Sampath had a little left with him, or almost nothing with him, this fellow went to, his usual haunt of a prostitute who he liked a lot and who he thought reciprocated his love. This woman had already found new suitors and lovers. They were all goons and Muslims who knew how to ward off attacks from guys like Sampath. When Sampath tried to reason and argue with this woman, he ordered those guys to kick and throw out Sampath on the street unceremoniously. Sampath was bruised, shocked, hurt, and angry, but he could not do anything as the doors of this whorehouse closed on his face forever. Sampath was not very educated. He had some knowledge of legal matters, etc., but these things were of no avail. By that time, Sampath had become a social outcast. He tried to get some job, but this guy had never worked in his lifetime. He had only enjoyed life till now. Sampath did not get any job. Meanwhile, his health was taking a toll on him. He had no money to cure him, and the previous mistress, who had administered some unnecessary medicine to Ranganathan had long gone. Due to his ailments, Ranganathan lost his eyesight. Nobody bothered about him. He had no money, no job, nowhere to go, and he was blind. Years after this guy was reduced to becoming a pauper and a beggar, and it was in this stage that he was once seen by his long-time boyfriend of his childhood who knew him and his father's crimes and who was now better settled in life. However, even this guy shied away from touching Sampath with a barge pole. He gave him some alms. Sampath was blind and he could not recognize this man, and this man said goodbye to Sampath forever. What happened to Sampath after that, nobody knows. But one thing everyone knows by now: what you say or do comes back to you with interest. Nemesis strikes even the most wary transgressor. You cannot think that there is no witness to your deeds. There are at least two. One is God and the other is yourself. That is why it is said, don't do anything in your young age which you will regret in your old age. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this matter. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of my other videos. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.